really got handed to Pixar. They really know how to end a franchise. And then they know how to end a franchise and then come back for more of that franchise and end the franchise again, which is a rare trick that I can't even name too many other people who have been able to pull that off. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
This is our post-Geekout reaction for Toy Story 4. And I will go ahead and start off by saying I'm not the biggest Toy Story fan. I'm not a Toy Story fan, period. It's not that I don't like the movies. They just never did anything for me. I watched the first one when I was a kid. And I was like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. I didn't really feel anything for it. So I completely skipped the second one. Third one, you showed me. I didn't see it in theaters, but it was like on our very first date, you found out I had never seen Toy Story 3. And you were just like, you've never seen Toy Story 3? And like, you dragged me back to your place. And like, so our first date was literally me just going, and yeah, it's an amazing film. It is a great film, but I still just like, I just don't care about Buzz or Woody. I don't care about any of these characters. And I was watching this one, and I was like, it's a good film. It is a good film. But man, if even the third one didn't get you to care about these characters, the fourth one, you're still gonna spend a good chunk of time like, it's fine, it's good. But I will say, like, when it wants to get emotional with you, it still does it. And when it wants to be funny, it still does it. It's a good film. I can look at this thing and say, it's a good film. But again, I'm just trying to tap down all the people in the audience who are going to be mad at my eventual score for this, because I'm letting you know, it's just not my thing, guys. It's I've given this a shot. It's not my thing. You are a fan of this franchise.
Yes, I'm like kind of the opposite of you. It's like anytime there's like a story that involves like toys or like imaginary friends or anything like that, I just get very emotional.
Or brave little toasters. And
no, not really that, but it's like when you're an only child, you rely a lot on your toys and your imaginary friends to keep you entertained because you don't really have any siblings or anything. So like I always get like very emotional about like, movies about toys and imaginary friends and like the child who has to grow up and eventually learn to let go of them. It's just very, very emotional for me.
Well, I will say that's the stuff that I actually do love about these.
Yeah.
Is that, they do make themselves films about like the importance of toys to children and like the importance of a child having like some kind of a security thing there. Like that's the stuff that I do love about this. I just don't care about Buzz or Woody. Like that's all it is.
Fair enough.
I like the story that's told. I just don't care about the characters.
You like the stories, but you don't really care for the toys.
Yeah, basically.
That's fair enough. I understand.
That's fine. So yeah, I do want to let you guys know I did like this. But it's not so much that I have problems with it. It's more just like, hey man, after all these years, I've learned this just ain't my thing. But what this film is about is that after the last film, when Andy donated his toys to this new girl, Bonnie, she's been playing with them, but now Woody, who was Andy's favorite toy, he's now kind of been retired.
Yeah, like he's not Bonnie's favorite toy.
Yeah.
And he's like, has trouble getting used to that.
Yeah, because Woody was very protective of Andy, and it's weird for him to not.
And he was like pretty much protective of all the toys. Like, he was the one who was making sure like no toy gets left behind and all that.
Which
like,
this movie even opens up with like a flashback to him doing that exact thing, just to let the audience know this is what Woody is all about, so everybody knows that. So there comes a point in here where Woody sees that Bonnie is going to her first day of kindergarten, and she's super scared about that.
And she's not allowed to bring a toy, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he decides to tag along anyways, even though the other toys are like, no, you'll get her in trouble. If she's found with a toy at school, she gets in trouble. But he decides to disobey that. And I was like, man, I know where this is going. It's going to be like Woody gets so desperate to be played with that he's going to see that Bonnie is upset, and he like jumps out there and is like, yeah, hey, your toy is here. And then she gets in trouble for that. No, that's not what happened. And I'm very happy that's not what happened. Basically what happens is that you see that Bonnie is really sad at school, and then Woody, I almost called him Andy for some reason. Then Woody comes in and he just like helps her out in little ways while remaining hidden.
Yeah.
And I like that because it shows that Woody, it isn't about him being played with, it's about the kid being okay.
Yes.
But she ends up basically creating a toy. She takes a spork out of the trash, puts some little like googly eyes and some pipe cleaners on, creates Forky, which you've all seen him in the trailers, and Forky comes to life. And Forky doesn't know how to deal with being alive because Forky was like, no, I am trash. I belong in the trash. I have a purpose. I slurp up soup and then I am gone. This is not natural for me to be this way. And I kind of dig that they went that approach with him because I thought they were going to go like some approach where, I don't know, he was just a massive screw up or something, which they kind of had that element in there a little bit. But instead, it was more like, no, I am not meant to be a toy. I don't know anything about being a toy. It's like, okay, you can kind of understand Forky here a little bit. But because Forky was the toy that was there for Bonnie at kindergarten, it's her new favorite toy. And Woody, basically, like, he's spending sleepless nights. He is just spending, like, every hour of his day making sure that Forky doesn't jump in the trash.
And it has to be there for Bonnie.
Yes, has to be there for Bonnie. And again, it's another good thing for Woody because it shows that, yeah, even if he's not the one being played with, he cares that Bonnie has a toy. Mm-hmm. But you can also see little hints here and there throughout the story that Woody is still having trouble adapting to a life without Andy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how to get over that. But here's where this kind of splits off from being a finale like Toy Story 3 was a finale. Toy Story 3, like, the entire thing was, this is the end. This is all leading up to, like, the entire story was about it
Yes,
being
exactly.
the end.
Literally, like, the opening of the movie, like, is, like, having all the toys being stuck in the toy box, not played with anymore.
Exactly.
As Annie goes off to college, so it was like, you know that is the end. But...
Yeah, exactly. The entire movie was about that. This movie, it kind of just feels like, hey, it's another adventure with the Toy Story gang. And then every now and again you get a little dash of like, something's up with Woody. Something's going on with him. And like, that's really it. And that's why Toy Story 3, it's definitely a better ending than this one is.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Partly because the emotional impact towards the end is way bigger than the emotional impact at this one. But also because there's an emotional impact throughout that entire film. And they're letting you know throughout that entire film, we're leading up to an emotional impact. Mm-hmm. This one is like, dash, 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 dash. The vast majority of this is like, it's just another adventure with these guys. It almost feels like if they had just like shortened this down to like 8 minutes, which I know that sounds crazy, but if you
like
just shorten like
have a short.
Yeah, like if you would shorten it down to like,
like
the stuff at the carnival is like 8 minutes. The stuff with Key and Peele is like 8 minutes. The stuff in the antique shop is like 8 minutes.
They've already done like animated shorts with the Toy Story.
That's why I'm saying it feels like it could have been one of those. Mm-hmm. Actually, it feels like it could have been like 2 or 3 of those. Like, you know, the stuff with Forky at the beginning, that's an 8-minute short. Stuff at the carnival, that's an 8-minute short. Stuff at the antique shop, that's an 8-minute short. Just like, take those little bits, separate them, you got 3 shorts there.
Yeah, I understand that, but like, I felt like the reason why they had to make a 4th movie was because they wanted to bring back Bo, because the Toy Story fans were so upset that she was not in the 3rd movie.
You told me about this, and again, I do not know anything about the Toy Story fan base, and when you were telling me about this, about how like fans were upset that Bo was not in the last one, I was like, I don't even remember Bo. What? But apparently this was a big deal to people. It's like, all right, like you were telling me about how invested people were in Bo and how people were upset that Bo wasn't in the 3rd one and about the backstory of why Bo wasn't in it. I was like, is this how people feel when I talk to them about Dark Souls? Is this like how other people feel? Well, oh, wow, okay. All right, and now I know how this feels. Okay. Yeah, so maybe that is the reason why? I don't know. That was like a crazy history lesson that you were giving me in there. But yeah, apparently from what you told me, they like lost the files.
Well, that was a rumor that I heard, but I tried checking up online to see if that was true because I don't want to like give out any false information.
You're better than I am.
But yeah, it's like I don't think they didn't have like the files or like the models ready for Bo in Toy Story 3.
Because that's the thing that gets me is like you lost the files. Make new fucking files. What?
It's like they tried to incorporate her in the 3rd one, but they didn't know how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes that's something I can see.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's like, and after like all the comments and everything there, she was like, okay, yeah, let's bring Bo back in the 4th one, and then we'll be finally done.
Did people start a petition to get Toy Story 3 remade with Bo in there? Dear people at HBO, I mean Disney, when the final installment of this book is made of the Toy Story chapter, I hope you go back and reshoot that third film.
No, but it's like they actually have like an explanation for why, but
I gotta give them that. They came up with a good reason in here of why she was not in the third one.
but it's like, I mean, like, in the process is like the guys on Toy Story, they said Bo is made of porcelain, and porcelain.
She would not have been with the toys there at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, that made absolute sense.
So yeah, she's not really a toy. She's more like a figure because she came with a lamp that helped Molly go to sleep.
Yeah,
she's not an actual toy. She's not even considered Andy's toy. She's Molly's toy.
We understand. Yes. So basically, what this film is about is that Forky ends up getting lost, so Woody ends up getting separated. They end up going and finding the family. They're at this carnival, but then Woody gets distracted because he thinks he sees Bo is in this antique store. They go to the antique store. He sees the
lamp that she was with.
Yes. As they go to this antique store, and there they find this doll, like it's one of those little baby dolls from like the 50s.
Yeah.
And
with the pull string just like Woody.
Yeah, exactly like Woody's, because she's like, oh, I bet we might even have been made in the same factory with the same parts for the voice box. Mine never worked. I was defective right out of the box. And I gotta give this movie this. It is the first Pixar or Disney film that I've seen in a while where the villain is not like some big reveal. Like, you know instantly, oh, she crazy.
Oh, but like the thing is, like, I wouldn't really consider her like to be a villain.
She's a villain for a bit of the film, but there is like depth to her.
Yeah, but like unlike like the Toy Story 2 and 3, where it's like, oh, you think you can trust this toy, but they turn out to be a villain with Gabby Gabby, that's her name. She seems like a villain at first, but in the end, you kind of understand why she does the things she does. So she's kind of like.
Now we're getting into spoilers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yes, there is depth to her. Yes. I will say that.
Yes, more so than in the second and third movies.
You do understand why she's the villain. Yeah. I will say that.
That's all my kind of issue with the third Toy Story. I felt like the villain that was too much like the villain in the second.
I didn't even see the second film, and I looked at the villain in the third one and was like, well, you're gonna be evil. Well, I know I can't trust you. Yeah, I knew that instantly that he was gonna turn out to be bad. So they even like put that guy on like posters and stuff like he was with the Toy Story gang, and I was like,
you can't fool me.
I can spy an evil teddy bear when I see one. Yeah, so with this one, like, she is the villain, but there is, like, towards the end, you do get a lot of, like, understanding for where she came from. Mm-hmm. But, like, she's got this whole, like, army of dummies, like, old ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah.
And I love that they can't talk. They're the one toys that can't talk, which makes sense because dummies talk with the human's voice.
Yes, they need a human in order to talk.
Like, they never stop to say that, but they realize the audience will be smart enough to realize that. I was like, that's a good freaking, like, that is a good detail put in there. So this ends up becoming, like, this whole weird, like, there's multiple stories all happening at once, but they're all, like, circling around the same thing. Like, Buzz is now trying to find Woody, and Woody is trying to teach Buzz about his conscience, his inner voice. So Buzz is listening to his little automated, like, attention rescue command. Like, anytime he presses that button, like, we're on a dangerous planet, leaving to go home base now, like, anything like that, it's like, well, that's what my inner voice tells me to do. I thought that joke was going to get so old. Actually, I enjoyed that joke. I think they played that just the right amount in there. So Buzz is looking for Woody. Woody has to find a way back into the antique store to find Forky, who was left inside there. While he's out, he runs into Bo. All this is stuff that you see in the trailer, but you might not understand how it all links up in the trailer. Because it seems like a bunch of random things happening. And it kind of is, but it works.
Yes, it does work.
It absolutely does. Like, yeah, I understand. Like, they go there and this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I like the way they mesh together. Which is like the complete opposite of Secret of Life Pets 2. Where they just have 3 storylines that hardly ever cross.
I actually thought about Secret Life of Pets 2 while we were watching this because you described it to me. And it seemed like, yeah, almost like an episode of Seinfeld, where it's like everybody has their own storylines and they have nothing to do with anybody else, but then at the very end they all come together. This is one where it's like, no, everybody has their own storyline, but they're all because of everyone else's storylines. And I was actually really impressed with how they pulled that off. And this then becomes like a story about like Bo used to be in the antique shop and she's got to help him break back into the antique shop, and there's all these crazy other old toys in there that you gotta meet, like Duke Kaboom,
the Canadian stuntman,
which again was another joke that I was like, that is going to get so old so fast. They played it the exact right amount of times. Like if they did that one more time, if they did the "Oh my Canada" joke one more time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start growing.
That's what I appreciate about this movie. Is like you think you'd get tired of Forky or Duke Kaboom, or even like Key and Peele as a Bunny and Ducky, but no, they play them off like the perfect amount. And
I gotta talk about Key and Peele as Ducky and Bunny, because anytime that they were on screen, it just became a Key and Peele skit. And it is weird because Key and Peele's style of humor does not fit the style of humor of the Toy Story franchise, but I love Key and Peele, so I didn't really have that much of a problem with it. Like, if people do have complaints about it, I can understand because it is so different than the other style of comedy. But man, this really was just like I was watching a Key and Peele skit. I mean, there was one moment in there where it's kind of like a daydream sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it goes on so long, and yet the payoff at the end of that joke is so good, it makes that long build-up completely worth it. And the entire time that you're watching the build-up, you're like, this is so crazy. It does not fit anything else I have seen in this movie, but it's so good, I don't care. Yeah, there's like moments where like they have to go sneaking into a place and they're like sneaking around. I was like, this is literally like the two valet guys that used to be on the Key and Peele skit. It's like, man, this is so... It's so bizarre, but I love it. It is like getting more Key and Peele skits. Yeah, that was one thing that, like, the celebrity guest at this time seemed like... Well, okay, that's not true. I was about to say, the celebrity guests in this seem more like they just got them for celebrity purposes, but then I have to remember, this whole franchise started with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Yeah, this was always a franchise about getting big names in there, so it's fine.
It's fine. Like, if they can make the characters feel real, then that absolutely works.
And Keanu Reeves pulls off Duke Kaboom incredibly well. And also, we saw this at the Alamo Drafthouse, and before the movie started playing, they were showing really old toy commercials. There was a moment in here where you see a really old Duke Kaboom toy commercial. Oh my God, it looked like...
Well, not an actual Duke Kaboom is not an actual toy, but like toys that are inspired by him.
Well, yeah.
It's toys that inspired Duke Kaboom, I mean.
We saw this at the Alamo Drafthouse, and they were showing old toy commercials before the movie started. There was a moment in here where you see an old Duke Kaboom commercial in there. Yeah, man, it is exactly like the actual toy commercials we were just watching a second ago. Like the graininess of it, like the timing of it, the pacing of it, like the framing of it. Man, it's incredible to me how they watched all that stuff. It's amazing me how they watched all that stuff. It's amazing me how they studied all that stuff in order to get it just right. And they're not even the only new characters in here. There's one that's like, it's a Polly Pocket thing. Which during the end credits, it said, this is owned by this. And I was like, that's an actual thing? Like, because they didn't say Polly Pocket.
No.
Like, they said something else. So apparently they got the rip-off brand of Polly Pocket, which wasn't still an actual thing. Whatever.
Not surprising. There's a lot of like...
There was a lot of those.
Yeah, like I remember...
Mighty Max, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a great character in here. And they don't really show her at all in any of the commercials, but yeah, that little like cop who's part of this little like
who's with Bo?
With Bo, but she's part of this, I don't even know what you call them, but the little like compartment toy.
Yeah.
What do you want to call them? That was great, and I honestly wish they had played into that even a little bit more, because the first time she's introduced, she's like in the compartment toy, it's like, oh, I'm coming down, like, step, get in a car, drive around. I wish they had done more of that, like, you would have had more of those little toys, because that was such a good joke in there, and I feel like you brought that back a few more times in there. Yeah, was there anything in here that you didn't enjoy?
I don't know. I mean, there were some things where I thought I was like, oh, that's okay, but nothing that I thought was like groan-worthy.
Yeah, there was nothing in here that was bad. But as I said, whereas like the previous one, it was like, this is an amazing masterpiece telling the story of the end of Toy Story from start to finish. This one really does just kind of feel like, it's a fun new adventure with the Toy Story game. And then at the end, bam, right in the gut with the emotions. Yeah, at the very end, there are two things that happen that really hit me hard. And it's not even like they're built up to all that much, they just happen.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, I kind of feel like the impact of them are made bigger because they weren't built up to. Yeah, I really do think that this is a solid, wonderful film, but I don't really feel like, if you're like me, and you're not a Toy Story fan, but you appreciate them for being good movies, you don't have to see it. If you're a Toy Story fan, you have to see it.
Yes, especially if you want to see Bo again.
Yeah. Apparently that's a whole fan base in and of itself. Yeah, so I don't feel like you have to see it, but I'd still recommend that you see it.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
It is, it's fun. Like you said, there's never a moment that I was groaning, even though there is a solid chunk of this film in which I was like, there's no point for this film existing. There is no reason why you had to make a fourth film. But it's good. It's good. Like, that never bothered me. I think that's the biggest praise that I can give this thing, is that even though it almost feels like a crime to have a perfect ending and then come back again, there's never a moment in here in which I was mad that they did that.
Yeah.
Even before it gets to the big emotional ending that made me go, all right, I see why you had to do a fourth one. I understand it now. Even before that, I wasn't mad. I was like, yeah, this is enjoyable. I'm having a good time in here. So I'm going to give this thing an 8.
I'd probably give it like an 8.5 or something
really?
like, or
Okay.
maybe a 9. I don't know. It's like, I haven't really sat down and thought about the other Toy Story movies and like what grade I would give them, so I don't know
So
how.
you're comparing it to the other one. I'm just comparing it to movies in general. But okay, I see, you got different grading
Yeah,
standards
it's
than
like,
I do.
I don't know. It's like, I kind of want to give him like all like 9s, maybe like, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe an 8.5 for like the third one, simply because, like I said, the villain, that one felt too much like the villain in the second one.
Oh, wow, that tapped it down that much for you? Wow,
Yeah, but-
okay.
It's like, you haven't seen the second one, so you don't know, but like maybe watch it and you'll understand.
I know it's the weird prospector guy. Yeah, again, I can spot a fake villain. I can spot a fake friend who's gonna be a villain, yeah. So yeah, okay, wow, I was expecting you to give it even higher, but wow, okay, cool.
Like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm on the spot here.
You just have higher standards than I do for these, so it's understandable. Yeah, it's, again, the score that we give these at the end, it doesn't mean anything. You just sat through us talking about this for half an hour. You know how we feel about this thing. Spoiler time.
Yes.
So the reason why they kind of had, like, the one unresolved issue is that Woody, he still can't get over Andy, but he meets Bo, and Bo has been a lost toy this whole time. And she's like, no, it's great being a lost toy. I don't need a kid at all. And Woody can't even comprehend this idea of it, like, not having a kid? What? And it's kind of weird to me that, like, the previous films are all about, it's important for children to have toys. And this one's like, yeah, but what about what the toys want? Like, fuck them kids. That's not important at all.
And like, even Bo mentions like, oh, children lose toys all the time. It's no big deal. It's like, yeah, they kind of do, but then there are some toys that
But then
like...
you see this little kid, like, crying the entire time that she's lost Forky.
Honestly, it depends on the kid.
Yeah.
Like, and some kids are more like fond of other toys than they are of some, which is why Bonnie isn't as fond of Woody as Andy was.
Yeah, it is kind of, man, that's like a kind of a bitter taste it gave me towards the end of this, is that you see them all, like, driving off, and for anybody who doesn't know, at the end of this, Woody leaves the gang. Woody leaves, and he just goes off with Bo. That's it. So at the end of the thing, you see, oh, they got Forky back, and she's so happy that she has Forky, and she turns around, and she sees all her toys, and like, yay, they're all there. And then it's like, yeah, not all of them are there. Woody's missing, and she did not notice that at all. It's like, yeah, kind of a little bit of bitter taste, because it's like, yeah, we, the audience, we care about Woody, because we've been with him this entire time. And we've seen, like, how much he cares about Bonnie. It's like, wow, Bonnie didn't care about him at all.
Well, sometimes, it's like...
But that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in the first Toy Story when, Andy was so obsessed with Woody, and then suddenly he gets a Buzz Lightyear, and he's suddenly, like, crazy for that toy and everything.
And it's kind of cool that, like, Woody, in a way, has, like, an entire story arc that at the end of this, he's okay not being someone's favorite toy.
Yeah.
He's okay being no one's toy.
Yeah, it's because he's already went through that experience, twice even.
And now it's important for other people to have that.
Yes, he now realizes, like, my purpose is done. It's now another toy's turn to find their purpose and to find their child.
And I was still kind of a little bit like, I don't know how I feel about this, but during the ending credits, like, not post-credits, but during the ending credits, it shows that he is now traveling around with this carnival with him, Bo, and Ducky,
and Bunny.
Yeah, how did I forget that name? And what they're doing is that they are rigging the game so kids win all these toys. Like while the guy who runs the booth isn't paying attention, they smack the bell, they ring the alarm thing, and then they just throw the toy. And they're like, "Oh, hey, I got my toy." It's like, yeah, that is actually awesome. Like, his job now is not to be some kid's toy. His job now is to find other toys, their kid. That's actually a great thing to do with Woody. And I was like, that is actually a perfect. If you guys send this guy off into the sunset, that's the perfect way to do it.
And like, I think he discovered that with a Gabby, like when her situation came up.
Yeah, because Gabby, I tried to cut you off before you got too spoiled on it, but yeah, at the end of this, Gabby talks about how it's like, you already had your time with the kid. I have not. Can I please, like, I just want to have that time with the kid. And yeah, they fix her voice box. Woody sacrifices his voice box so that she can have hers. And then this little girl, who she has looked at every single day coming to the antique shop.
Because, like, her grandmother owns the antique shop.
Yeah, I've been looking at this kid like, I want to be that kid's toy. I want to be it so bad. And then the kid looks up and is like, oh, hey, I found this doll. Oh, do you want that doll, sweetie? Nah, toss it aside. And Gabby is heartbroken. And that's when you really go like, oh, now I feel for this kid.
Well, honestly, I thought at that moment Gabby was gonna snap and like go full villain.
I thought so too. I'm so glad they didn't do that.
No, I'm so glad too because we've seen that happen in the second and third one. We don't need to see it happen again in the fourth movie.
In the second and third one, we had the friend who was a secret villain. This one, villain, secret friend.
Yes.
Way better.
Yes, I really like that.
Way better.
Yes. It's like, now that I think about it, there really isn't a villain in the fourth movie.
It's the situation. Yeah,
yes.
This is not man versus man. This is man versus nature, or man versus situation.
Or toy versus situation.
Yeah. So, yeah, at the end of this, there's a little lost child, and this is a scene that to me just sums up the entire message of Toy Story in one scene. There's a lost child. She is crying there by herself. She's scared. She can't even go up to anyone for help. And then they send Gabby down there, and she just sits there. And then Ducky and Bunny, they roll this ball across. The little kid follows the ball, sees the toy there, goes, "Are you lost too?" And then she pulls the string. "Are you gonna be my friend?" She doesn't like. Then she hugs him and says, "Don't worry, we'll find help." And I was like, oh my God, that is like everything that makes this franchise good. Like I said, I never got any attachment to any of the toys themselves, but the message of these films, I was like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's a good ass message. So yeah, that was a great thing to do with Gabby at the end. And yeah, what they do with Woody, like I said, I have zero attachment to Bo in this. I feel nothing. But at the end, when Woody is about to go and join his friends, and then Buzz is like, she'll be okay. I forgot the little girl's name. Bonnie.
Yes,
Bonnie will be okay. It's like his friends told him to go and do what he needs to do, and he runs back and he hugs Bo. Yeah, I don't care about Bo, but I got feelings from that. I got that. And then when he's saying goodbye to everyone, like, when the horse came up and looked him on the face, like, man, I don't even care about these characters, but this is making me, like, go, oh, yes, the connection he had with oh, my God, it's all coming back to me. And then when he, like, says goodbye to Buzz, they're like, full circle. Like, everything, full circle. Man, that really got to me. Yeah, again, it is incredible that these are films where I don't really care about the characters, but they know how to, like, at that exact moment when I need to care about the characters, they make me do it. So yeah, I'm going to give this an 8 because while the ending I think is amazing, the rest of it's like, yeah, it's a fun adventure with the Toy Story gang.
I think I kind of want something a bit light after how dark the third one is.
Oh my God. Fair enough. But in a weird way, I do also kind of think that kind of makes this is one of the things that makes me look at this and go, it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like this could have been just 3 different shorts.
Fair enough, I understand.
Simply because the last one was like, well, how do you top that? I don't know, we just have a Key and Peele skit in here for a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, I did really like this film, but it doesn't, again, it's a good second finish to this thing.
It feels like an epilogue as opposed
yes,
to like
okay, thank you. Because I was about to like just have random vows spill out my mouth. Like, but I don't know how to explain my point. Epilogue, yes. The third one was the finale.
Yes, absolutely.
This is an epilogue. This
Yes.
is that like 30 minutes at the end of Lord of the Rings where they're just jumping on the bed in slow motion. Then he has to get on the boat and go away and like, oh my god, check the clock here. Except that, it's a good epilogue. He's like, okay, good, yeah, all right, all right, I'm cool with this. Yeah, that is exactly the perfect way to sum this up.
Should we talk about the Easter eggs in this?
I caught none of them, so go for it.
Okay, so like in every Pixar movie, you always look for the Pizza Planet truck, because that's always in every one of them.
I did not know this.
Yes, I found it. It was a tattoo on the guy running the booth.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of made me think that maybe he used to drive the Pizza Planet truck when he was a teen, and now he runs a booth now that he's older.
All right.
Also, there was a little girl who looked a lot like Boo from Monsters, Inc. Have you noticed that?
No, totally missed it.
Yeah, she had the pink shirt and the pigtails, and she looked a lot like her, so I was wondering if she was like a more older version of Boo.
There are those theories that these all take place in the same universe,
Yes.
which I've never really subscribed to that theory, but whatever.
Also, there were like 2 Up Easter eggs. There was one that was the grape pin that the sheep got from...
I'm just amazed at how many of these you were catching. Like, I saw none of this. I'm fascinated.
Yeah,
Keep
the
going.
grape soda bottle cap pin that Ellie gave.
Okay.
Yeah, and the sheep had it. And the second one was, there was a painting in the antique shop of dogs playing poker, and one of the dogs was Doug.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure there might have been more, but those were the only ones that I caught.
That's still really impressive.
So yeah, look for those, and if there are any more that I missed, let me know in the comments.
I still, it was like, what Easter eggs are you talking about? Oh, wow, a lot of them. A ton. Okay, wow. Yeah, that was really impressive. Cool. But yeah, let us know what you thought about this film in the comments down below. If you want to see us talk about more creepy, scary living dolls, we have Child's Play coming up this Sunday. I think we're going to review that. And then next week is Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Creation was the last one. This is Annabelle Second Coming, whatever it's called. I don't. Why is this? Conjuring gets 2 films, Annabelle gets 3? What world are we in?
People love their scary dolls.
Yeah, for anybody out there who had living dolls as the theme of this movie's summer movie season, enjoy your gloating, because you've probably been getting shafted on this for years. Every single year in your summer movie theme poll at your office, you're like, I bet on scary talking dolls. And everybody's like, what the fuck? It's gonna be aliens, it's gonna be superheroes, it's gonna be action, it's gonna be explosions. Nah, creepy talking dolls, man. It's gonna happen. This is your time, man. You've been waiting on this. So, yeah, thank you guys very much. I probably blew out our mic with this very bit at the end. Come back next time. Bye.
Bye.